Well, we crowned ourselves the unofficial European champions after defeating Barcelona in the quarterfinals. Now it's time for Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League. Hello and welcome to Club 6, part 39 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Champions League semi-final game against Real Madrid. There is a Man City game sandwiched between the two of them, but we're just going to play that one offline. This is all about the Champions League, and I'm afraid. And actually, who's the best team in Spain? Let's have a look. So Real Madrid are down in third place in La Liga. Barcelona are top. Barcelona have won the last two. So we should be better than Real Madrid. We've proven we're better than Barcelona. We should be able to beat Real Madrid. We'll find out about that in a minute. We have had injury problems, though, as usual. It's just the story of this save. Since you were last with me, the sea of green has continued, though, and we find ourselves 4 games remaining in the Premier League, still just 2 points behind Man United, with Man United still to play. We're still in that situation where if we win every game for the rest of the season, we win the Premier League and we win the Champions League. That would be a nice outcome. We still would prefer the Champions League, though, if we had to choose. So, this is the team we're putting out there for the first leg away in Madrid. The 2 injuries we've got are Dolberg, who's out for the season. He's dislocated his shoulder. He is done. It was only yesterday's episode I was saying he was having the season of his life. Well, now that season is over. But we've also lost in-form Junior David, who's going to be out for a couple of weeks as well. He might actually miss both legs of this tie. We've still got Jamie unavailable for injury as well. So, it's not as strong a team as we put out there against Barcelona, but fingers crossed, £65 million worth of striker, a top quality midfield player, and a guy who's played at right back for us on and off for years should fill the void adequately. So we've got Vice in goal, a back four of Martelot, Felipe, Vitali and Alex, with Davidson, Leshy and Henrique in midfield, Schaefer in behind Pingu and Pinheiro. Let's get into the game. Let's go and grab a win. I mean, we'll be happy with a draw. Actually, we're away from home in the first leg this time around. We're happy to go to Madrid, come away with a draw. A score draw would be ideal because then we have the away goals advantage going into the return leg. But obviously, the real super duper wonderful scenario is that we go there and win like 3-0, like we did against Barcelona in the first leg, albeit at home. But a 3-0 win would go down very nicely around about now for my blood pressure. Noticing straight away that, as we've seen in a couple of these European ties this season, Madrid have got a few fitness worries with their defenders. They've got a couple of players already down in the 70s for fitness, whereas we're still up in the 90s with everybody. In fact, Lopez, their centre-back, is down to 69% conditioning. Our attack line are all fully fit, still in the 90s. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage, playing our high-tempo attacking game. Vice has just flapped at that like he's Robbie Nadat. What on earth was that all about? And he just stayed out of position the whole time and we conceded a goal. Vice, I don't really know what he did there. We need to see this on the replay. I don't know if the replay is going to go all the way back. Here's the initial cross. What does Vice do here? Just flaps at it. If he collects that cross like he's supposed to, the goal doesn't go in, but he flaps at the cross, never gets properly back into position, and it's a really easy finish to put Real 1-0 up. 20 minutes into the game. Not a disaster at all at this stage of the competition. We have plenty of time to get back into it. A 1-1 draw in the away leg would be absolutely fine if we can go and grab an equaliser. But we do need to sort of switch our engaged brain part on. We talked in the away leg against Barcelona how it might have been a mistake going there doing control and flexible and just going there and attacking them. But it worked. So I've done the same again. I didn't agonise over this decision the way I did against Barcelona, but we're nearly half an hour in, and despite a control instruction, we haven't yet had a shot. We're struggling to get possession of the ball. Real are just all over us, and this is problematic, but I can't bring myself to drop down to counter-attacking from here. If it was still 0-0 and they were all over us, then I'd consider it, but we need a goal. I don't want to go bring them back to our place 1-0 down or 2-0 down, because that's just going to be silly. We need a goal. We must score a goal. We have got the hero of Celtic, Jerome Whiteley, is on the bench, so he's there as an option to come on if need be. Salcedo scored in our last league game as well, so let's not forget that Eddie Salcedo exists as an option up front as well. So if we are struggling for goals, we do have options, but Pingu is the top scorer in the entire tournament so far this season, and Pinheiro we spent £65 million on in the summer after he won the Champions League with Inter last year. So we should have enough goal-scoring oomph to get us through this tie without needing a 23-year-old who's only played 3 games for us in his career. But Real attacking again. We've still not had a proper chance, but Pingu running clear, and Schaefer is there. Pinheiro with the chance to cross. We had both Pingu and someone else, possibly Henrique, in the middle, unmarked, but Pinheiro went it alone, and it was costly. A costly miss, and now Schaefer's picked up a knock. So we're going to bring Tommy Merson on. If ever there was a time for Tommy Merson to remind us why he was one of the heroes of the early seasons at Arsenal, he's been sort of the forgotten man for the last couple of seasons, but he's got half an hour now away against Real Madrid to grab us a goal and show us why we should all still love him. But it's Madrid who've got the corner, and they are getting so close to a second goal. 1-0 down from the first leg is something we know we can turn around. 2-0 down, and we start to panic a little bit. We're bringing on Jerome Whiteley, because why not? Absolutely, why not? You never know what might happen. He's going to go out there and play with no fear, just make a nuisance of himself, and he might just grab a goal. More realistically, he's going to look like an absolute fish out of water, and this will be the last time we ever see him. But there's always the chance for a silly little moment of romance in Football Manager. We've brought on 2 homegrown players, 2 of our Arsenal youth players, to get on there and try and make a difference to this game, because the one thing that really stands out is we don't seem to have anyone who really, really, really wants it. Junior David dragged us through by the scruff of our necks through the Barcelona game by showing that he wanted it more than anybody, and I'm hoping Whiteley or Merson can go on there and do the same thing for us today. Whiteley tries to take on one of their defenders and just runs straight into him because he's a championship player. Right, I'm going to take off Pingu as well. Bring on Eddie Salcedo. So we're going with the formidable Champions League semi-final strike partnership of Eddie Salcedo and Jerome Whiteley. If we grab a goal here, then Football Manager is officially broken forevermore. They've got their defender is down to 47% conditioning. I mean, that's got to be an opportunity for Whiteley to just use his pace and get behind him and make a nuisance of himself. Deep cross from Davidson. It ends up with Felipe, and we just can't get hold of the ball and form a proper chance. And now Real are in behind, and we've forced them out wide, but they square it, and it's 2-0 in just about the last kick of the game. And 2-0 makes things difficult going into this second leg. It's not unachievable. We beat Barcelona 3-0 at home. If we go and beat Real Madrid 3-0 at home, then obviously we make our way into the Champions League final. But I hate being away first. I know you're supposed to like being away first, but I hate the fact that when you go away first and you lose and you don't score a goal, and you're always afraid of the away goal. I thought we were going to concede a third. You're always afraid that they're going to grab the away goal, because now when they come to our place, if they score a goal in the first 10 minutes, they're 3-0 up and with an away goal, and we have to score 4 goals all of a sudden, and that then becomes an impossible task. But we really, really missed Dolberg and David today. This is a sad moment. This is Whiteley plays Merson. If we can grab a goal here. Oh, Salcedo misses. It's the best chance we've had in the entire game. If we got time to take this corner, it's Leshy with the corner. It comes across to Salcedo again. And Eddie Salcedo's looked lively in the last 30 seconds of this game. But it's not enough to force a goal. And look at the state of those stats. Real Madrid have torn us apart. We should have come here and tried to play for a draw. We didn't. And now we really, really have to go and try and beat them in the return leg. But first, we've got Man City in the league. And all of a sudden, our league form becomes that bit more important as it becomes apparent we're probably not going to win the Champions League. Well, our Premier League title challenge is still fully underway. We beat Man City 2-0, which means the Premier League table with 3 games to go looks like this. We're 2 points behind Manchester United, and we play them in the second to last game of the season. So no matter what happens now against Real Madrid, at least we know tomorrow's episode will have a purpose, because we could secure back-to-back Premier League titles as our parting message to Arsenal, because I will absolutely be looking to move on in the summer, if anyone will have me. But we need to get into the Real Madrid game. We've got to turn around the 2-0 deficit from the first leg. Look at all these players who are wanted by other clubs. And they're all the ones who I've promised can leave if we don't win the Champions League as well. There are vultures circling. We need to get into the game. We're going with Ben Willis up front. No, we're not. We're going with Pinero. I picked the team, then went and made a cup of coffee. This cup of coffee, in fact. I imagine 15 minutes ago Kev had a good reason to have Willis in the starting lineup. I don't know what that good reason could possibly be, so we're going to go with Pinero. We spent £65 million on him. If we don't play him now, what was the point of spending that money? We've got to have the confidence in our own convictions. Pinero was scoring goals. That little spell earlier in the season when he was getting a run of games, he was scoring goals. So all he needs is another run of games and he'll start scoring goals again, in theory. I thought we'd given away a penalty. It's just an injury to Vitali. That's fine. A penalty at that point and it's game over already. Vitali got a gashed leg, but he's a real man and will just fight through it. So I can get on board with that. Good work, Vitali. Right, that's the first scare. That's actually made me sweat. And the combination of it being a hot day, that mouthful of coffee, and that early thought it was a penalty, I actually have started sweating because I'm so afraid of what's about to happen. Leshy with a great challenge. And now Felipe with a big long ball again for Pinero to chase. And Pinero pings it in towards the goal. It pounces back towards Pingu, who fires it into the post. And that was our first big chance of the game. Hopefully the first of many. If we can try and keep this to be an open, end-to-end attacking game, I am confident we can outscore anybody. Pingu's in behind, squares it to Pinero, and now he hits the post. 13 minutes in and we've hit the woodwork twice. A little bit of luck on our side and the tie is level already. But apparently the game's going to make us work a little bit harder for it yet. Real have got 2 players on injuries already, a defender and a striker. The defender is that guy from the first leg, Lopez, who he was never fit throughout the entire game. We need to work him. He's not fit. He's now injured as well. We should just be able to run circles around him, but it seems that we're just not. For whatever reason, we really are missing Kasper Dolberg more than I thought we would. Felipe, the long ball expert, over the ball on top again for Pinero. Can he square it to Pingu? He does, and Pingu scores. 39 minutes on the clock. It's 1-0 on the night. We're still 2-1 down on aggregate, but that gives us a little bit of hope. Of course, we've all experienced hope in Football Manager before. We know hope isn't always necessarily a positive thing. The game sometimes just uses it to torture us, but hopefully on this hope again, maybe just this time, that's the start of a comeback. Imagine if we can grab a second one before half time. That would be incredible, but it seems that the half's just petering out, and it has. So, one more goal forces extra time, unless of course Real score as well. We just got to keep going, lads. Keep on fighting. Keep on pushing. Keep on giving it to Felipe for his big long balls forward, because he's apparently a League 2 defender and just humps it over the top for the little quick guys to chase onto, and it seems to work. We're knocking the ball around nicely all of a sudden. Schaefer with a little bit of space, but tries to do a Felipe and fails miserably, and it just hits the Real Madrid defenders. And now they've got the opportunity to come at us again, and we need to get a tackle in. We spent too much of the first game just letting them run through us, and Davidson does get a challenge in, and it's a good one, but they're coming straight back at us again. We've got to get hold of the ball, keep hold of the ball. Leshy and Davidson are both playing out of their skin, but basically as defensive midfielders. Pinero, cross comes into Pingu, who scores again! The two of them combine in pretty much exactly the same way they did in the first half. Pinero going out into the channels, showing why he was the right man to get the nod up front, and then just plonking it straight onto Pingu's head. It's 2 goals in 9 minutes of match time. It's 2-0 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate, and all of a sudden it's all to play for, and we've got the momentum. The one thing we do need to be afraid of is the fact that obviously Real Madrid have the bonus of being able to score an away goal, whereas we failed miserably in our attempt to score an away goal at their place. So goals for Real Madrid at the moment, a goal will count double. If they score once, we have to score twice. But Pingu's in behind again and scores again. Pingu has a 10-minute hat-trick in the Champions League semi-final. It is now 3-0 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate, and now we are just in don't mess this up mode. Pingu proving why I'm going to say it, Pingu is the best striker in world football right now, because he is a big game player. He scores goals when it matters. Yes, he's a little bit injury prone, and he'll probably pick up an injury now and miss the rest of the season, and we'll win nothing. And there's the away goal we were so afraid of. So Real are back ahead in the tie. Let's not get too excited. What a 12 minutes of football that's been. If you're one of these people who goes and gets your pie and a pint 5 minutes before the end of the first half and comes back 5 minutes into the second half, you probably still think it's 0-0. But it's 3-1 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate, but with Real having the away goal. So we now have to score again. We did brilliantly, and they've just pegged us straight back again. But now they're down to 10 men. They've had a red card, 53 minutes on the clock. Real are down to 10 men, and it's Schaefer who's in, plays it out to Henrique. Probably should have had a pop himself, but it falls to Leshy. We're trying to work a chance when we could probably just have a go. Leshy over to Davidson, to Pingu, who just skips past his man and picks up goal number 4. Pingu, his 40th goal of the season. I have never loved Plasticine Penguin as much as I love Pingu right now, and this is just oozing class. What a goal. What a player. It's now 4-1 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate. And, oh, goodness me, we need a couple more for me to start to calm down. Pingu cannons it back off the crossbar. Can I point out, in addition to the 4 goals Pingu has scored tonight, he's hit the frame of the goal twice as well. Pingu could have had a double hat-trick in the Champions League semi-final against the team that's won it more often than any other team in history. Yet he's still not on the shortlist for World Player of the Year and all that stuff. I don't understand what that man has to do other than stay fit for a full season. But, he's played enough games to score 40 goals with 5 games of the season still to go, or 4 or 3 or whatever it is. Pinero's in behind now. Crosses it to Pingu. Pingu has now scored 5 goals in this match. It's Arsenal 5, Real Madrid 1, and now we can sense that we've just got one little fingertip on a spot in the Champions League final, and it is 100% thanks to Pingu, who in 20 minutes of this match has scored 5 goals. Oh, it's only counting as 4. I've just realised. Oh no, it was a red card. He has scored 5. Ignore me. I thought one of them had gone down as an own goal, but it was a red card. I'm pointing at my screen with my pen. You can't even see that. Oh, what a performance from Pingu. 5 goals. 10 out of 10. You can count on one finger how many times on FM18 I've seen a player get a 10 out of 10. Pingu's getting it up. Pingu's got it exactly the moment when he needs it. Oh, stop talking, Kev. Let's get... Oh, we haven't got Tommy Merson on the bench. We'll bring Salcedo on. Leshy we're going to take off as well for Zan Forlim. And just to keep some energy in the team. And Leshy's been playing a blinder, so hopefully that hasn't really seriously weakened our midfield, bringing Zan Forlim on. I know he doesn't play very often. We would love to be bringing Junior David on in that position. But obviously he's injured. And... Right, let's hope those substitutions don't ruin everything. I'm now in the same position I was in against Barcelona in the last round, where I'm thinking, at what point do I go for my flat back 5 that we used against them? And I'm a lot less comfortable doing it at home with only a 2-goal advantage, because I am afraid they'll score. Pingu's got the ball again. Surely he's not going to grab a double hat-trick. Salcedo to Henrique to Pinero. It's 6-1 to Arsenal with 15 minutes to go. It's now 6-3 on aggregate, and surely that's enough now for us to wheel out the Champions League special flat back 5. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, but that's absolutely going to be my 80th minute substitution. We're going for a flat back 5, and I might even take Pingu off just to get him the standing ovation that he deserves. If he doesn't get clapped from all corners... Why have I clicked that? If he doesn't get a round of applause from all 4 corners of the ground, I don't understand what else that man has to do. Right, let's bring the right one on. Do I want Lafredo or Herford? I think I'm going to bring on Jake Herford, just because we know all about his leadership quality that he can bring to the team, and I am going to take off Pingu. He's done his job. I know we all want to see him get the 6th goal, but I'd rather just secure our defence a little bit. So we're going to bring Herford on just to basically almost play as a sweeper for us, because he's the little fella. And we'll just go with Pinero up front on his own. We're going to go counter-attack him, and we're going to lower the tempo. This is exactly what we did against Barcelona in the last round, and it worked. If it doesn't work... Now, if we concede 3 goals from here, then the world's gone mad. But Pingu's had his standing ovation for his 10 out of 10, 5-goal performance, and we are in the Champions League final, everybody. Goodness me. What a season this is turning out to be. And come on, let's just have one final big ball forward. We don't even need it. Arsenal 6, Real Madrid 1. And I would say, and feel free to let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong, the finest individual performance by any player in any Football Manager game ever. The fact that Pingu's gone out and done that in those circumstances is nothing short of remarkable. Who are we playing in the final? Wouldn't it be amazing if Tottenham have made it past Leipzig? An Arsenal-Tottenham final would be absolutely spectacular. Pingu, you are a hero. Well done, sir. When's the other game? How do we know when the other game is? Champions League semi-final, second leg. It's only an Arsenal-Tottenham final. Presumably they've never won it before either. What an occasion for North London. Arsenal versus Tottenham in the Champions League final. Neither of them have ever won it before. And that, I think we'll do that as a Saturday special. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.